outside Albany, New York, and we're going to interview Victoria Smith, who works for Vicarious Visions, which is a game developer.
This has been, of my many jobs, this is by far my favorite job. I was telling my parents the other day, you know, I basically get to go into work and build castles in the sky.
So did you always have an interest in video games? What were you like as a kid?
Yeah, I always did love video games. I didn't really get into the idea of making them until relatively recently. But yeah, no, I was definitely a gamer as a kid.
What was your end goal? Did you have one in particular?
I wanted to make comic books. Writing and drawing, that's what I mostly wanted to do. And, you know, it's not every, well, okay. It wasn't my parents' dream that their daughter would become a comic book artist and writer. As much as they loved me and encouraged me, they were like, we're not going to pay for a humanities degree. They said, you know, we will pay for a science or engineering degree, but not otherwise. So I went and I got my degree in electrical engineering, and I basically, it's a really good career, but I had that sort of creative side and essentially got really bored. Ended up quitting and trying a bunch of different things. I got my master's in interactive technology, which is it's a euphemism for a master's in video game design. And then I got, you know, really lucky, and VV recruited me, so now I get to work here.
What was that like when you had this passion and you had this drive and, you know, you went down that path, you followed the science? What was it, did your perspective of science kind of come around?
Absolutely it did. It's kind of like when you're in sports and all you want to do is play football, right? And you do not want to do the jumping jacks or the push-ups or the weightlifting.
That's a good analogy.
But I'm really, you know, in the end, I was really, really glad I did. Because if you don't do the push-ups, you don't get to play the game. And because of my technical background, because, you know, I had to teach myself how to code, I had to teach myself how to work with computers, I mean, that gave me such an advantage when it came to working video games. And this is the thing, I think American culture sort of, we have this whole chase your dream thing. And so we tell somebody, okay, if you're really good at this, you should just concentrate on this. You should just, you know, pour your soul into acting or into writing and leave everything else behind. And I kind of think that that's a really unbalanced way to go about things. I mean, even if you say you're a writer and you want to write the great American novel, so you completely blow off math and science. But if you don't understand math and science, you're not going to understand technology. And if you don't understand technology, there's no way you can understand the world we live in today. And if you don't understand the world we live in today, how are you going to write the great American novel? If you really want to be a writer, you should chase that dream, but you shouldn't neglect math and science. Just like if you're really into math and science, you should, you know, you should still read the Shakespeare, because that's going to round you out, and that's going to allow you to bring creativity into your math and science work. I mean, the artists here, I'm such a fangirl when I walk around the office and I look at people's work, and they do 3D modeling, and they do just stunning environments, you know, really beautiful characters and beautiful animation. And they're working on computers, they're working with extremely sophisticated technology. But obviously if they hadn't worked on art, they wouldn't have been able to apply that technology in such a beautiful way.
So are any of those seeds of your comic books still in there?
I get to work here now. And here, they give me a level, and they say, okay, at the beginning of the level, the game is at state A, and by the end of the level, we want to be at state B. But in the meantime, make a little story out of your level. So I get to make essentially three-dimensional interactive comic books now. I get to build a castle and figure out, okay, in the beginning, you're going to be welcomed by Count Dracula, and then he's going to grab your boyfriend and drag him to the top of the tower, and you have to fight these monsters in this order and solve this puzzle. It's my story, it's my level. So I'm not actually in comic books, but I kind of got to step up, I thought.
So our final question may seem a little huge, but what advice would you give to the three of us and other people around our age who, you know, are just getting started?
I knew a priest once who I was in college and I was drifting, and he told me that it's impossible to steer a bike that's standing still. So just go for things. And then the weird part about doing that is that you get deflected in the direction you want to go. Like, I did engineering, and then when I changed careers, that deflected me again into video games. And I think sometimes you just need to stop wondering what you want to do with your life and go out and do something. If you move forward, you'll find your way, because your way will be informed by who you are, what you like. Just, your life's a game, right? You just have to play it.
She said, it doesn't matter what you do, it's always your future, it's always gonna steer you to where you want to be, or to where you're supposed to be. And I think that was very comforting to see that, all right, I'm completely lost. I don't know if I want to do this, but I'm gonna try it, and I'm gonna go see if it's worth it. And then this is gonna take me the path that I am supposed to go.
In really a relatively short amount of time, what's been 6 weeks? I'm more comfortable with the fact that I don't know what the hell I'm doing in 7 days. Literally, I don't know what I'm doing in 7 days. 6 weeks ago, Megan would have been distraught, literally, like, inconsolable. And now I'm just like, I don't like this, but I'm gonna be okay.
And it's just interesting to hear all these motifs just be reiterated and come up again and again and again. It's like, fail fast and hard. Fail all the time. If you're not failing, you're not getting better at all.
There was a study recently, I think in Sweden, to try to identify scientifically what is most fun about a video game. And they found that people had the most fun when they did fail. When they did something wrong, they're like, okay, now it's on. Now I can do this. If you try 5 times and you fail each time, and then on the 6th time you get it, that feeling is so great. You know, that's the moment. It's not just playing the game. It's learning that your limits are not where you think they are.
We don't have all the answers because we haven't seen all the questions.
We haven't lived enough.
Yeah.
We need to fall on our butts from time to time, but there's nothing wrong with maybe preventing a few of those butt falls.
Yeah.
That's okay too, you know?
Like, we're gonna fail bigger and better and bolder.
Yeah.
Because we're not doing the little failures.
We're gonna be the best freaking failures that this world has ever seen.
The biggest failures ever.
Yes.
We're gonna fail!
We're gonna fail! Fail! 1, 2, 3, fail!
We're now at the Atlantic Ocean, so we drove coast to coast in 6 weeks, 7 weeks.
Wow. Yeah, from the Pacific to the Atlantic.
Over
47 days.
If you're not scaring the hell out of yourself every once in a while, you're not close enough to the edge.
In the end, there isn't anything that anyone does that doesn't have its challenges or its hard days or its really difficult times.
Definitely feeling like being a part of something real for the first time in my life.
For more than 10 years, dozens of road trippers have traveled in the green RVs to define their own roads in life. Here's a quick update from Matt, a road tripper from Season 3.
My name's Matt Maud. Back in 2005, I did a sort of 6.5-week road trip from New York to LA. You don't really sit down with people that often and ask them the really important questions in life, I think. I don't think that kind of happens in your day-to-day.
Where did that sort of desire come from, personally? Does that mean that if you went back, you'd do it differently? What have you done with, like, periods of time where you have been lost?
When I first came back, I kind of was still in road trip mode. Basically just gave me a very big thirst for deep kind of interaction with people. I knew before I did the road trip that film was going to be my thing. I just didn't know how to do it. The whole experience was just a huge affirmation of something that I thought I could do maybe 10 years from now or 20 years from now. Back in the UK, I'm a filmmaker, I'm a writer and director, and I also do some producing as well. I run a small production company, which is called Left Eye Blind. I do kind of